And we're live.
Well, hey there. It is a feel-good Friday. Hey, how you doing? I'm Paul Sullivan. Billy W. Merritt presents the show, but he very rarely makes an appearance. So in the house, Smith behind the scenes, making sure everything's working properly. And by the way, I'm going to throw him under the bus right away. It's been a long week. So, I haven't had a chance to really, just throw Sean under the bus. By the way, I'm going to call him Sean. I'm going to call him Smith. Just as long as I don't call him like some names that I call him behind his back, on air. No, I'm kidding. No. And now if you've watched the show and you've heard Smith talk about music, he has all these like very odd and unusual and, kind of strange, if you will, music selections. Well, he's humming, he's singing along, he's singing Footloose in the studio. Where did that come from? Where did you get Footloose in your head?
I was listening to the Procrastinators podcast this morning, and someone busted out into like a parody version of Footloose. It was actually quite a violent parody, but now I have
quite a violent.
Now I have the actual song stuck in my head. So Footloose.
So there you go.
That
so
all morning.
Smith, he could do his own rendition of Footloose coming up in a future show. I'm just saying he could bring his guitar in and do an acoustic version of Everybody Cut Footloose. But hey, so it actually is today. Now today is absolute feel good Friday. I'm wearing my Chicago Bears stuff. I'm even wearing the uni. Check this out. Yeah, got the Hall of Famer Brian Urlacher on the back. You can't really see it. He's a Hall of Famer, Brian Urlacher, who's retired now, and again he's Hall of Famer. But so my Chicago Bears, they play playing the Packers this Sunday, so that'll be an excellent game. Plus, my Cubs long gone. They've been out of it for forever. Pretty much all season. Pretty much since like May. But the Braves are in the playoffs. So I told you that last week. Smith, do you follow baseball at all?
Absolutely not.
Okay, so are you at least like rooting for the Braves to win?
Go Braves!
Look at him. He's like, absolutely not. He just doesn't give a rip. So, hey, good morning to my mom, by the way, who just chimed in or just messaged in or whatever. But no, the Braves, they're actually playing the Dodgers. They'll take on the Dodgers in the National League Championship playoffs. So they'll play tomorrow at home, so that they've got home field advantage. So hey, and the Braves, man, I'm telling you what, they started off a little slow. Well, I'm being polite. They started off a little slow in the season, but man, they came back strong in the second half. Added a couple players. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and mention this. They picked up Jock Peterson, who was playing for the Cubs. I'm just saying, he was a Cub. He hit a pinch hit home run with a bat that he borrowed from Anthony Rizzo, Chicago Cub. So see where I'm kind of tying all this in, where it all goes. But again, so good luck to the Braves. My girlfriend Brenda, that's her team. So I always say if the Cubs can't win, well, then I hope the Braves do. So Braves playing tomorrow at Truist Field at home against the Dodgers. So good luck and go Braves. And we'll do that, that whole chop thing or whatever that that they do. My little grandson actually does that, even though I'm trying to make him a Cubs fan. But Brenda got him doing that, for the Braves. So he's a Cubs / this fan. That's what he is. He doesn't really even know about the Braves. He just knows the tomahawk chop thing that they do at the stadium. So also had a big time in Tennessee. Went to go see my niece, Amy, in Jackson, Tennessee was the town. You ever heard of it, Smith? Jackson.
I've heard of it. Yeah.
Jackson, Tennessee. And so it's like 2 hours from Nashville. And then it's also like an hour and a half from Memphis. So it's similar to where, like how we are here in Douglas, Georgia. We have like Savannah's 2 hours away. Jacksonville's 2 hours away. Macon's 2 hours away. We're right in the middle of nowhere, kind of a thing, or 2 hours away from everything, if you will. That type of thing. But no, it was a cute little town, and I got a chance to try some of their local beers and local restaurants, and just caught up with my niece. So hello to Amy, her mom Barb right there. My sister Barb just chimed in. Good morning to her. Who, by the way, Barb is going to be going to I think next week. She's going to Tennessee. Why she didn't want to go while I was there, I don't know. Maybe that's a personal thing. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know what's going on in her head. I don't see her very much. No, I'm just kidding. So when we went to Tennessee and I saw some of and I tasted some of the local beers, there was a place called Rock and Dough, like pizza dough, Rock and Dough Pizza. So we're in a Rock and Dough restaurant. And so they make hand tossed pizzas and, really good sandwiches. And they have a whole bunch of different beers, local beers and stuff. So that was a really cool place. So I absolutely recommend that for the beer selection. I got it was the fire. I think it was chicken fire. I think it was chicken fire sandwich. It was basically a chicken breast, but it had some heat on it now, and had some peppers on it. Yeah, it had some peppers on it, sriracha sauce. Then it had some pickled red onions on the top. I mean, it was kind of right up your alley. Smith, if you may not know, Smith, he's kind of a a home chef kind of thing. He creates something out of nothing, is what he does.
And I love spicy chicken.
So he's and he's like a ramen wizard. If you can get a wizard certificate for working with ramen, he can pretty much do that. Robert Brooker, good morning to you, who just messaged in. So let's get to the, this is going to be an unusual beer of the week. Okay. Now this one, now you've got the little label or whatever up in the corner. Now this is a very unusual can. It's got a little man, if you can't see it, it's not real big there up in the corner, but it's the name Pumpkin Kerfuffle. Pumpkin Kerfuffle is the name of it. Very unusual. I'm going to read you the label. By the way, it's from Prairie Artisan Ales in Michigan. But the Pumpkin Kerfuffle, this is the description now on the can. By the way, I've never had this. This was recommended to me that, because I like all those pumpkin beers. So this was recommended to me. Pumpkin Kerfuffle, Imperial Sour Beer. Oh boy, we got a great start, don't we? Imperial sour beer with pumpkin spice blend and toasted marshmallow flavor. It's not winning me with the description, I gotta say. In fact, the girl who recommended it to me, she's like, no, you're gonna love it. I know it sounds really disgusting. Don't you love that? It sounds really disgusting. Try it. It's like when you have bad milk, and somebody goes, smell this. Does this smell bad to you? It's like, no, I don't want to smell it. I don't want to taste it. Or they go, taste this. Does this taste fine to you? Does this taste all right? I think it might have spoiled. Do I want that? So Robert, by the way, says it matches well with what has been an unusual week. And he loves that word, kerfuffle. I have to agree with Robert. Kerfuffle. I don't know what the is that a made up word or is that like a real word?
Let's find out.
Smith's going to look it up while I open up this bad boy and see what pumpkin kerfuffle is all about. So, okay, now it has a sour smell. Hey, taste it. See if it's still good.
Wait, what?
No, it does. It has kind of a soury smell. All right. So did you look up kerfuffle? Is it a word?
It's actually in the Merriam-Webster dictionary.
Okay. What's it mean? What's kerfuffle mean?
A disturbance or commotion typically caused by a dispute or conflict. For example, in all the kerfuffle, nobody seemed to have noticed Harry, which suited him perfectly. And that's from a J.K. Rowling book.
I got to tell you, this is unusual. I'm not going to say that it's bad, and I'm not going to say it's great. Because I just tasted a little bit. When you first, your first taste, it does taste kind of sweet, actually. It doesn't taste sour. It tastes kind of sweet, and you can actually taste marshmallow or sweetness, sugary sweetness in it. But then when you swallow it, then like the finish is a little sour. So it's kind of weird. It's kind of. Yeah, I'll give it a thumbs up. It's good. Cool. Cool. Free beer, but drinking at work. So how can you complain? Give it a thumbs up. So while we do the show, Prairie Artisan Ales Pumpkin Kerfuffle. If you like the pumpkin beers, you want to try something unusual, definitely go with the Pumpkin Kerfuffle. That's going out. By the way, this is strong. It's 8.2% alcohol by volume, so it's got some kick to it, obviously. Doing that, and I really don't know what you would pair this with. It's just an oddball. It is. It's kind of a weird taste.
Sure, drink it with pumpkin pie, I guess.
Maybe, pumpkin pie. Oh, hey, that. By the way, I had carrot cake. Man, that's what it would go with. It would go with carrot cake. I had carrot cake when I was in Tennessee from a restaurant called Blacksmith. That was really good. If you ever go through there, Smith, go to the Blacksmith restaurant. It was really, really good. We had an appetizer called crostini. You ever heard of it?
I have not.
I had never heard of it either. So, I was, trying something new. They're basically, it's like the pieces of bread, like you've had bruschetta, haven't you? Have you had bruschetta?
I know I've had it at some point.
Okay. So the size of the bread from bruschetta, it's like that little loaf, it's about this big around. But it had, it had a little bit of tomatoes and stuff on it, like bruschetta, but it also had filet mignon, a slice of filet mignon on it. And then it had a little bit of onion, and then it drizzled it with a balsamic vinegar dressing. Man, was that, I could have had just that for dinner. I just could have had, bring me like seven trays of that. That was really, really good stuff. Robert Brooker says he loves bruschetta. And also before that says, reminds me of some of those dinner lady brand vape juices like rice pudding. Did you ever do the vape thing?
I have definitely seen all the crazy flavors. That
what's some of the weirdest ones you've ever seen?
I remember some of the ones that actually appealed to me was like, I think there was like a blackberry juice flavored one.
Okay. So did it taste like blackberry? Like for real? Or did it just smell like it?
I'm trying to remember if it was like juice or pie or what. I find with those things, like it's appealing for a second, and then it kind of just fades in the background. And you'll never notice it again, in my opinion. That was just my experience.
So Smith gives the blueberry pie or blueberry juice or whatever vaping thing a thumbs down. It was not worth it. It wasn't worth the hype. It did not meet the hype. So I was too bad for that.
Few things are.
Well, one thing that absolutely did meet the hype was I went last night down to Jacksonville. Went with my my sons Jack and Matt and my daughter-in-law Brittany. And we went to go see Three Doors Down. They were the main band, whatever you want to call headliner. And then Seether was the band that was the opener. Now, you know, I know you're familiar with Seether, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so and you're familiar with Three Doors Down, right? Okay, now in your opinion, I mean, just be honest. There's no wrong answer here, but in your opinion, which band do you like better, Seether or Three Doors Down?
Probably Seether.
See, I was shocked that Three Doors Down was the headliner. I mean, I like them; they're very good. By the way, they're excellent live. I'd seen them, a couple of times already, and they always put on a really good show. But it just kind of surprised me that Seether was the opening band. But that was my first time seeing Seether, and they were fantastic. They played just under an hour, so they didn't play long, but they played well. I'll give them that. But I do have a slight little, I always got something to bitch about. I mean, I got something, a little nitpick thing about it. The show was really good. It really was, except I don't know why they treat the opening band like they're the plague, or like they're second class citizens or something. You know what I mean? Like, why is that? They do this big production, for the headlining band,
right.
Give them this whole big gigantic stage, lights and flashes and, all kinds of effects and all kind of stuff. And then the opening band, they're like, all right, we're going to give you 7 feet, of this little square, on the front of the stage. No, you can't use the other stuff. That's for the big band, the band behind you. So why I don't get that. What's the deal, with that? Why won't they give the opening band a little bit of love, if you will? Really a little bit of respect is what I thought, But the main thing was, now I know that it's very common that they do that for opening bands. They'll, force them up to the front of the stage so they can get the rest of the stage set up for the main act. I get that. But here was my big complaint last night. They didn't use any spotlights for Seether. They didn't use any. I mean, they had like the ones that are like the stage lighting, that point down. So, I mean, they had those, but they're aimed toward the middle of the stage. So they're playing in front.
Right.
So it was so stupid. So, I mean, it was like you could barely see them. You could see like their silhouettes, because they had like stuff going on in the background. They had like screens and lights and crap, behind them. But you could, so it was just very odd. And then they have Daly's places where we saw them in Jacksonville, which I really do. I love that venue. Such a cool place. There's not a bad seat in the house. It's not that big. It seats like 5,000 people. And there really isn't there. I mean, there's no bad seat. It's covered, so you don't get wet if it rains. And yet it's outside. They have like the open sides. So it's pretty cool. You feel the breeze, things like that. So it's pretty comfortable last night. But you can see they have the 3 spotlights way up on, like above the 3rd level. Like the big straight spots, like, the manned ones, the ones that people actually run that take people, well, they had the covers over them and they just weren't even using them for Seether. And I'm like, really? I mean, so I don't get one. I really don't. So I was a little concerned or a little miffed, if you will, about that. And I was concerned as to what the big deal was. Like, oh my God, we turned the spotlight. I don't care if they would have just set them up and pointed them. Like, didn't even have to man them or whatever, but just turn them on so you could see them. So that was kind of disappointing, but overall, the show was definitely not disappointing. Again, Seether, and they were great. I mean, they were really good. That's the first time I'd seen them. So I would absolutely go back and see Seether as a headline act, because they played, like I said, they played just under an hour, and there were 4 or 5 songs that I mean, when I was at the show going, oh, wait a minute, they didn't play this one. They haven't played this one. They haven't played this one. So there were multiple songs, that I came up with that, that they didn't play because, you know, they only had like an hour, I guess, you know, to play. But then Three Doors Down came on, and this was a cool, it was a very cool tour or something unique. Because again, I'd seen Three Doors Down. I've seen them 3 times before this. I saw them twice at a festival, so where they're like, you know, sharing the stage, and then I saw them at Wild Adventures a couple years back where they were the headliner. And again, they were really good all 3 times I saw them. So I was expecting, you know, them to be great like they were every other time, but it was unique because their very first album, it was the 20-year anniversary of their album. In fact, Smith's got it, you know, pulled up in very good timing. Good job. And I didn't even have to cue him on that. That's the classic rock revisit of the week too. The album is called The Better Life, and again, just a great album. I mean, came out in 2020 and or 2001, not 2020, in 2000. So you know they're celebrating the 20 because of COVID. You know, the tour got all screwy and all that kind of stuff. So they're doing the 20th anniversary in 2021. But it had songs like Kryptonite. That was a big single. You know, I mean, that was their very first single. So that was on there. Loser is on there. Duck and Run, I think, is on there. You know, there's several songs that are on this album, but the tour, it's the Better Life 20th anniversary tour. So what they did, I kind of like this. I mean, and Smith, I'm sure that you'll agree with it too. When you get a band that you like an album, like, you know, when you actually play the whole album, not, you know, like I play the singles or, you know, pull up YouTube like Smith does. Just saying, you know, but if you actually play a full length album, it's cool. So what they do is they play the album in its entirety in the sequence that it was on the record. See what I mean? So I thought that was cool. So, you know, it's just pretty neat. So if you love the album, then you knew what was coming, and, you know, and just something, I think it's unique for the band too. You know, it mixes it up where the band can play a different set than they normally do when they're playing. Cause, you know, obviously when they play, they're going to play the hits. You know, I mean, that's what you know, fans, including me, play the hits. Come on. No, man, not a new song. Oh, people always complain when they do the new songs.
Right.
Hey, let's jump back real quick. Don't take that down though.
No.
I just wanted to recognize what Robert Brooker's been doing some comments here. So HB pencil flavor was the one that was not expected. It was on point.
On point.
Oh man. But don't forget to tip your waitresses, Robert. And also I did enjoy the Earl Grey tea flavor, but don't want to sub that.
I think right there he's talking about like an actual like mod vape, like one of those big powerful like custom looking things.
Oh, he's going big time.
Yeah, that did remind me. I know what it was. It was strawberry shortcake. That's what I was trying to remember. It had nothing to do with blueberries.
Smith. You know. Apparently he's vaped way too much. He's done something too much. I'm just saying. Yeah. It was blackberry juice or something. Or maybe it was blackberry pie or something. No, it was strawberry shortcake. Now that I think about it,
this is going down a rabbit hole of trying to remember.
Okay, bringing it back to the album. Robert Brooker says that he would always listen to the entire album. Over each of the songs had its time as his favorite. I mean, he did like it. He did like to get his money's worth, and I agreed. You know, I used to be. Now, when I was a lot younger, I was a singles guy. I mean, I was, and I'd play like the one song over and over. And that's when you had to work for it, by the way. Like when you had cassette, you had to play it and then go, and then hit play, you know, listen to it and rewind. You stretch the crap out of that tape. But so eventually it would break or it would just get, you know, old. It'll play funny. It would like, blah, 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 right. Doing that kind of stuff. But I started out kind of as a singles guy when I was much younger. And then I started to appreciate albums. I remember like Van Halen and there were some Styx albums that my sister had that I listened to the whole album. And then of course, Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon. My older sister Barb had that album, some Zeppelin albums, you know, that I listened to the whole thing, you know, and really got to appreciate it. So it's kind of pretty cool. So Robert Brooker, I enjoy seeing my breath. He's on a roll here today. Maybe he should be doing the show. Robert, I enjoy seeing my breath from the very first time. It never gets old.
There's something satisfying about it, no doubt.
Robert, just move up north. You know, in the wintertime, you can see your breath anytime you want. You know, when it gets really cold, you just you see your breath. It's kind of a unique thing about living up north. We don't get that down here in the South. You don't see your breath.
Yeah, maybe like a couple of days of the year.
You know, I mean, well, yeah, you're right. And then when it does happen, nobody goes outside to see their breath. They're like, it's cold. It's cold. Turn on the heat. Stay inside.
Mini heaters everywhere.
That's right. You know, city shuts down if it snows like, you know, half an inch. I mean, acting like it's acid or something. There's something coming from the sky.
Acid rain.
Don't let it touch you. That kind of thing. Robert also says that I always bought LPs and recorded them as I appreciated the opportunity to decide on the quality of the cassette used. I remember that. I remember, there were way better cassettes than, I mean, like you'd go to Kmart or something like that, and it would be like in just the clear plastic. I didn't even have a case. It was just the cassette. It didn't even have the little jewel box case. It just like 3 in a little plastic baggy kind of a thing. It's like 3 for $1 or something like that. And they would always suck. But you try. Maybe this batch will be good.
Right.
I mean, it's only $1. You try that. Never worked. Every time you'd use it, you'd play it 2 or 3 times, and the tape would stretch or break. Or worse, it would get stuck in your car cassette player, and then you pull it out and you got tape everywhere. And it's like, it's like the magician with the stupid handkerchiefs, the never-ending tape that you're pulling out, trying to get it out of the tape deck. Robert, boy, he's busy. He's a busy boy. As I'm talking really fast, he's typing way faster. That time we moved to Clayton, North Carolina. Much to everyone's surprise, we also brought the snow with us. So a little tidbit from Robert's autobiography. Robert, are you going to write an autobiography? I think you should.
Needs to.
I think you should. TDK, he knows. Look at that, man. He knows his TDK SAX 90s. They were his favorite cassette. And how sad is it that I recognize that right away?
It's retro.
They were TDKs. They were good stuff. I mean, you had Memorex was the one that was the most advertised when they had the. Okay. Is it live or is it Memorex? That was their little. That was our little slogan or whatever. Yeah, TDKs. They were the ones that were a little bit expensive but affordable. So yeah, I remember plenty of TDKs. And then Robert, were you a guy that did you actually had the little sticker, that like you put on the actual cassette? So I'll ask Robert, did you use the stickers, like, to label your cassettes? Did you actually use them, or did you just write on the little cardboard thing that, that came in the jewel box? I'm curious of what he did, because I know I used to write on the little stickers, but then, like I said, sometimes the stickers would come off, and then you'd lose them, or God forbid, again, it like the tape got stuck and you pull it, and then sometimes the sticker would come off in there. No, it was just a nightmare. So I'm curious if Robert used the stickers on the cassette or if he just used the jewel box cardboard. So look at that. I'm talking faster than he can type right now.
For once.
So I finally asked him a question. Now he doesn't answer. Now he got ghosts me all of a sudden. He's like, I'm done. I've messaged like 9 times, so I'm done. Going back to 3 Doors Down, by the way, to the classic rock revisit. This is a really good album. The Better Life, again, it's got some great songs on there. Go check it out. If you haven't heard it, if you're a newcomer or if you're like Smith and you only listen to, singles on YouTube, if you only do that, then go check out The Better Life. It really is. It's a great album. And plus, when you go see 3 Doors Down live, if you ever get a chance to go see them live, do it, because first of all, their tickets are not that expensive. So, they don't charge an arm and a leg to go see them. The arena, again, or I shouldn't even say the arena, the venue, because again, Daly's Place is pretty small. Daly's Place holds, like I said, about 5, maybe 5,500, if I'm guessing right. And there was, for Seether, it was kind of disappointing. We looked around, and I mean, it was 8:00. It wasn't like it wasn't like a 6:30 start or something like that. I mean, 8:00's plenty of time for people to go home, change, get out, and get to the venue. So there were quite a few fans that obviously disagree with me and thought that 3 Doors Down was way better and that Seether was apparently not worth, an hour of their time. So it was pretty empty. I mean, I would say maybe half full, for Seether. So, I mean, there was a lot of empty seats there. Now, when the lights went down, I saw some people starting to come in, but there's no way that it was more than, say 2/3 for Seether. No way. A lot of the upper seats. And again, when I say upper seats, they're not nosebleed. They're not those ones that are way up. It's a cool venue. Check it out. Go see a show at Daly's Place and you'll love it. Again, it's really cool. They improved the sound quality. But by the way, I will warn you though, they do not have the big Jumbotrons at Daly's because it's not big enough. I mean, you can actually see the people on stage. So it's a cool place to go see the show. But anyway, 3 Doors Down, they're very patriotic. They support the military. They've had several singles where that they have military themed videos and, and things like that. And they always finish with When I'm Gone. It's a beautiful song, talking about, and there's all kinds of military footage, families, and, when their loved one goes off to war and all that kind of stuff. It's really cool. They do a video montage because even though they don't have a Jumbotron, the band always has the big, video screen behind them. So they do like this really cool video that goes along with it. So they put on a really, really good show. So I would highly recommend if you can catch actually either one. I mean, if you go see Seether, I think you'll really love it. They were fantastic. They sounded great. And then Three Doors Down, again, did not disappoint. When I go to see a band, this was my fourth time to go see Three Doors Down. And so, I mean, when they don't disappoint and you've seen them now the fourth time, that says a lot about their band. So, and they've got some loyal fans too. The fans keep coming out and following them. So that's probably why they were the headliner. Where Seether, Smith, are you familiar with the song Broken by Seether?
Yeah.
Where it had
Amy Lee, right?
Yeah, Amy Lee from Evanescence. They did that. Well, they actually performed the song, and I thought it was kind of unusual. I wasn't sure if they were going to play that one, but they had one of the other guys in the band that did Amy Lee's part, and they did a lot of this. I'm not a big fan of this normally. They did a lot of that, the hey, you sing, they do this stuff. Not a big fan of that. I'm like, no, we paid to hear you sing. We didn't really pay to watch you hold a microphone out to the crowd to go, hey, you sing, doing that. So, but they only did that on Amy Lee's part. So, I mean, so it was cool. And it was a little more, I mean, it's a softer ballad song anyway. So, very acoustic, but it was a cool version. So they did that really well. So I like that one. And let's see, probably my favorite song by Seether that was live, Rise Above This. I like that one.
Good one.
I mean, they have so many really good songs. I mean, Fake It is such a fun jam. I mean, so that was, that one was probably the one that got the crowd into it the most.
Yeah.
But I like Rise Above It. That was my favorite song that they played. And one they didn't play, Seether actually does a rocked up version, if you will, of Careless Whisper, the song that George Michael and Wham, they did it originally, and you would think there's no way they're going to pull this off. I mean, it. Yeah, and it's such a good version. I mean, so I was a little disappointed they didn't play that song. But again, when you only got 55 minutes, you just can't. I mean, they actually have enough music. They have enough of a catalog where they just can't play it. I mean, they just can't. So Robert, we'll jump back into Robert's comments. When I bought a low end mid-range cassette deck, a 3-head deck with bias adjustment. Sometimes I use normal bias on a chrome. Oh man, he's really getting technical. On a chrome tape for increased bandwidth or dynamic range, I meant to say. So Smith, he's drinking this up, boy. Smith's over there going, yeah. Now you're speaking my language. Meanwhile I'm going, do I have any more beers? That's kind of, So can you kind of, can you explain what his comment is, Smith? Can you explain that to the layman's, in layman's terms?
Some of it. Okay. I know by dynamic range, he means like the differential between like the loud parts and the high parts, like all the way up to peaking 0 decibel all the way down to, negative 48 decibels or whatever. So more range in the volume, increased bandwidth. I think that's really like the kilobytes per second. So it's like, oh God.
Oh boy. Hold on. Hold. Smith, you're going to have to read this one. Robert just gave like this long explanation. So Smith, you go for it. You read this one.
Here we go. I have been a guest on 3 different shows this week so far, in addition to role in the comments of many more, something that Henry kept from me. My subconscious, my mission started with the intent of ensuring those giving back felt heard, relevant, appreciated, and loved, to help them remember who they were and what they were doing, strengthening their self-worth. I do things backwards. Each one impacted was a small part of what was revealed to me last week. A brand new belief in me. AS ... Did it actually cut off his comment? Oh my God.
That is a long comment.
This has never happened before. I think it actually cut it off. I'd have to go find it on Facebook.
When the comment blocks the entire person, holy moly. No, hey, we love the comments, Robert. So I mean, seriously, Robert said those first CDs were so compressed,
Yeah.
and you can hear the anger.
Oh yeah.
Those first CDs were so compressed.
Yeah, well, I mean, and that the compression that kind of reminds me, like I said, the dynamic range. You see a lot of the rap music today. They talk about the loudness wars, where now I think this is slowly fading away, but sort of now everybody's sort of competing for who can have the loudest CD. So everything's compressed to the point that if you look at the waveform, it's just like a square block because it's just all peaking constantly. It's constantly loud, always loud, because like your average your average peak in loudness determines what they call like perceived loudness. So if you don't have a lot of dynamic range there, even if your album's peaking at 0 decibels and the guy who's got dynamic range is peaking at 0 decibels, the one that doesn't have that dynamic range still sounds louder. It's perceived as louder. But yeah, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's clear as mud now for me. So I appreciate that. You and Robert should get into a conversation about the high decibels and stuff and all that kind of thing. Ryan Hanna, who just jumped in, I'm sure Ryan could actually explain it. And I love, here he goes. Here's a small comment.
Beautiful.
So Ryan's always got the quick wit. Used to work with Ryan when I was back in radio. He's still a radio engineer. Yes, they still have them. They're still around. In fact, there's very few of them. So Ryan is a very valuable man right now. The radio stations that are still trying to be on the air and do that kind of, he is a very valuable man. So he's a man of apparently small comments. Robert's back. When there's the largest difference between the loudest part and the quietest part, the space between is the dynamic range. And see, no, Smith, why couldn't you just say that?
That definitely, that's a much better explanation.
Smith's talking all these weirds and all kinds of strange stuff and everything. Okay. Yeah, so, all right. So 3 Doors Down, The Better Life, the album, fantastic. Again, go check it out. Go listen to it. Or Smith, if you want, you can go to YouTube and play a couple of videos, off the album. If you get a chance to go see them play live, really do that. Because again, they're very good live. And Seether, again, I would absolutely go see them as the headliner. So Seether did fantastic. Go Braves, go Bears. And we got to wrap this up because I got to go to work.
Oh, okay.
I got to run some errands and then I got to come to work because I'm closing tonight. So I got to work. So I got to run and do a couple things. So again, thanks so much, Robert, by the way, for being such a good sport. Smith's used to me picking on him, but I was kind of throwing you under the bus a little bit, teasing you a little bit. But again, we absolutely love the comments for real. Thanks for watching the show. Thanks to Amy, my niece, for letting me stay with her when I went to Tennessee to go check out the Jackson, Tennessee area. Go see the Blacksmith restaurant. I'm telling you, that very good. And Rockin' Dough Pizza was really good too. Some local beers that are going on there. So, and of course, cannot forget Pumpkin Kerfuffle. Pumpkin Kerfuffle is the name of the beer of the week. So if you can find it. Again, it's you can go to Prairie Artisan Ales. That's the company that makes it out of, I believe it's Michigan. I believe it is that makes Pumpkin Kerfuffle. If you're a pumpkin flavored beer lover like I am, I know some people think it's weird and it's stupid, but I like the change of pace. I like to try different stuff. So Pumpkin Kerfuffle, if you want to try that on for size, I would probably recommend, if you can find it, buy one. Honestly, I mean, I'm saying, get it, try it, but it's weird. It's an unusual thing. So I don't know if you'd want to buy, I think it comes in a 4-pack. So, I mean, I bought the single, where you can make your own 6-pack. So I did that. So I can try that, tried a bunch of different beers. So Pumpkin Kerfuffle, go try that on for size. In the meantime, if your plans include drinking this weekend or anytime, remember, make sure that you use a designated driver and please drink responsibly. So go Braves, go Bears, have yourself a great weekend. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.